What's up? What's up? What's up? Good afternoon, New Mexico, and welcome to everyone turning in from around the globe. This is Dr. Joaquin Acosta, your trusted pharmacist, here to guide you on your health journey and unlock the wisdom that lies among the crossroads of science, nature, and the mind. Guys, today we have a lineup that's both enlightening and empowering. We are starting today with the breakthrough in vaccine technology. The FDA approved an RSV vaccine for infants on July 17th, in addition to the 60 and older approval back from May. Then, after that, we're going to go ahead and shift our focus to the intersection of healthcare and technology. In today's digital age, everybody, your health data is as precious as your health. We are going to delve into the recent controversy surrounding the GoodRx prescription app and what it may mean for our data privacy. Next, we step into the intriguing realm where personality and health intertwined. Can who you are really impact your health outcomes? We're going to explore that one together as well here later, okay? In our Herbal Wellness Corner today takes us to the heart of nature's power, that is RSO, and its powerful role in a case study on cancer. That is our butt cancer case study for anybody who does not know about it. After that, we're going to switch gears into the thrilling world of speed and passion with a special community shout out to our very own local besties at Vado Speedway Park. Congratulations again to Josh Kane and Rob Mosley tearing up the feature races last week, and as they always do over at Vado, but wanted to make sure they get a good community shout out this week, guys. As the announcer at Vado Speedway Park, I also do podcasting for those guys, so check them out on Facebook. We have a fun Tuesday where we deep dive into the drivers, and of course race night is the place to be. Actually, we're not racing this weekend at Vado, so we'll see you again for next weekend, and we're going every Saturday night after that for our weekly racing series at Vado Speedway Park. Anyways, and for all the men out there, my Men's Health Minute segment focusing on the promising potential of regenerative medicine. So tonight we're going to talk about it. As we age, our bodies change, but with the right knowledge and resources, we can navigate these changes powerfully and gracefully. So sit back, take a deep breath, and let's embark on today's journey of discovery together. This is Know Your Pharmacist Live. Let's get started, everybody. To everybody on my Facebook feed, thank you for tuning in. What's up, guys? Everybody on the Instagram feed, different feed, but what's up? I'm sorry you guys don't get the tickers and the captions and all the good stuff, but guys, want to make sure I'm accessible to each and every single one of you. So the first thing for all you parents out there, for the newborns or expecting, interesting, RSV virus approved by the FDA to to prevent RSV in babies and in toddlers. So again, as of July 17th, the FDA approved. First of all, I guess I better back this thing up. Who has heard of RSV? So who has had a kid who's had RSV, or who has had, perhaps a niece or a nephew, or if you're a student or a teacher that, somebody has gotten RSV. It's like the flu, guys. So RSV is just another respiratory virus, just like the flu that goes around. It's very common. It's very, it goes up in the infant stages, especially during that cold and flu season. So for the fact that there's a vaccine out for RSV, that's pretty cool. I want to make sure that we put the highlight on that. So back in May, actually, there was a vaccine approved by the FDA called Arexvy, and this is for RSV vaccine approval, preventative adults over the age of 60. So, sorry guys, I'm missing a mic. To my IG people, I'm sorry, I almost forgot about you guys like that, but I'm going to get you guys mic'd up right now. I'm sure you guys probably got the poor quality sound there. Let me fix that up right about now. Haha. I feel terrible. So anyways, I'm fixing my sound, IG people. Anybody watching on Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, sorry for the embarrassing sound fix here, but this must be done. Putting this thing on. We are rocking and rolling. Sound should be way better now. Everybody. All right, cool. Got my mic on for my IG feed. Almost forgot about that. but no big deal. What's up? How's everybody doing? Friday evening. I know everybody's got so much better things to do on Friday afternoon than listen to me. So anybody who is sticking in and listening to me right now, appreciate you. We're going to talk about RSV and what that even means, guys. RSV, respiratory syncytial virus, is a lower respiratory tract disease in neonates and infants born during or entering their first RSV season. In children up to 24 months of age who remain vulnerable to severe RSV through their second RSV season. So RSV can cause, this is according to the FDA article, RSV can cause serious disease in infants and some children and results in a large number of emergency department and physician office visits each year. So today's approval addresses, and this is July 17th again, 11 days late on the announcement for that, guys. But, you know, if you're a parent, if you're a grandparent, if you know someone with kids or infants, it's worth talking about. I'm sure you're probably seeing it in the news, or you're going to see it in the news a lot more here soon. So, you know, the RSV vaccine, the Arexvy vaccine for adults over 60 and older has barely started to hit pharmacies. Like, probably most pharmacies aren't going to have it yet. I doubt anybody in town has it yet. But I think they're really trying to put in the drop, is what it sounds like, for later this fall. And the cold and flu season is really trying to start introducing that and rolling out, probably trying to make sure they get better and quicker adoption. Obviously, you know, when cases go up, it's probably easier to get people to adhere to wanting to get a vaccine, which is fair. But I think, you know, I am bullish on the RSV vaccine for infants, respiratory tract disease or virus. RSV, basically, you know, you see it all the time, and it can even be misdiagnosed too. So it's just worth having a vaccine for it. You prevent the bad health outcomes that come out of that, and the time and all of the time under the virus. So might as well save for lung disease, save for anything else, because the children that are actually, you know, the ones that are the most vulnerable, children that are born with somehow chronic lung disease or somehow premature or significant congenital heart disease, those are the ones at most serious risk for the RSV, like hospitalization. So basically, we want to make sure that, you know, we get all our children vaccinated with the RSV vaccine, the infants and babies, once it comes out. And it's going to probably come out here in September, October. It's going to come out right as that season starts picking up. So the vaccine is called Beyfortus, and Beyfortus is going to be administered as a single intramuscular injection prior to or during RSV season to provide the protection. So that's the scoop. That's the lowdown on the infant vaccine for RSV, for anybody who hasn't had the, you know, input on that. So again, it's called Beyfortus, Beyfortus. Beyfortus. It's a monoclonal antibody with activity against RSV. Monoclonal antibodies are lab-made proteins that mimic the immune system's ability to fight off harmful pathogens such as virus. So again, it's already been supported by 3 clinical trials. First one, or trial 3, was with 1,453 preterm infants who were born during their first RSV season, or during or entering. So of the 1,453 preterm infants of the trial, 969 infants received a single dose of Beyfortus, 484 received placebo. Among infants who were treated with Beyfortus, again, the RSV vaccine that's going to be released here for infants and babies in the fall, 2.6% experienced MA-RSV LRTI compared to 46 infants with placebo. So you got 2.6% experiencing that RSV compared to 9.5%. So Beyfortus in that trial reduced the risk of the RSV transmission by 70%, according to placebo. So not a bad deal there. And I can guarantee you, if you're a parent, I've definitely talked to you in the pharmacy, and maybe I haven't talked to you directly, but talked to people just like you that are going to deal with RSV. So again, what is RSV in infants? How does it present? RSV in infants, how does it present? Check this out. RSV, obviously, as I'm saying, those infants that are most vulnerable are the ones that we really, really don't want getting RSV, but at the same time, we want to prevent the severe RSV infection. So early symptoms of RSV just present as runny nose, eating or drinking less, cough, which may progress to wheezing or difficulty breathing. RSV in very young infants can lead to more irritability, decreased activity, eating or drinking less. So can be easy to overlook, basically, is what we're getting at. But we want to be able to be sure to address that. And if you are a parent who knows that your child is perhaps more prone to be getting a severe RSV infection because if they are premature, if they have weakened immune systems, younger than 2 years old with chronic lung disease or congenital, present from birth heart disease, infants up to 12 months, especially those 6 months and younger, are some of our most vulnerable. So that RSV vaccine, again, Beyfortus, not bad. The other product is called Synagis. And then the ones for the adults that is barely hitting the market right now is called Arexvy. So again, guys, talking about RSV on our pharmacy frontline segment here tonight. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. Hope everybody's having a solid Friday so far. So the next thing I'm going to talk about, guys, we're talking tech. Tech talking. We're talking a pharmacy tech company here, and that's GoodRx. We are talking about GoodRx allegations. Customers' health data sold to advertisers, right? And, those of you guys in the pharmacy world, I know you probably understand that this is a thing. We tell patients for sure, and I've been, good about this for a long time. If you're going to use GoodRx, just be aware that they are going to sell your data, right? And they even deny the allegation. So look at this. According to an article from NBC, regulators say prescription app GoodRx sold customers' private health data to advertise for years, right? Well, GoodRx says it does not agree with the allegations made by the FTC. It has agreed to pay a $1.5 million fine and notify customers whose health data was obtained and sold. So again, people, public service announcement, GoodRx, as good as those prices are, if you are paranoid about your data, you should definitely be worried because they consider themselves a literally telemedicine platform. But their privacy practices are truly not that good. And people that 110% in the lawsuit already from 2017 to 2020 had their private and sensitive health information sold to third-party advertisers like Google and Facebook. Think about that, guys. No wonder these guys are so good at targeting now. They've got all kinds of data. That is some impressive data. So, guys, if Facebook can look at all of your internet data on your phone, and granted, TikTok is the foreign people doing it, but it's very nerve-wracking, I think, for you guys to think that some of these bigger powerhouses got bigger because GoodRx sold them all of your health data. So if they can tell that you may, I don't know, for instance, be X age with perhaps you took X meds, so you might have X, Y, and Z conditions, and you can put all the pieces of the puzzle together. I don't know. All of that data just really turns into a giant study. And as I've talked about all week, AI, right? You look at all that, like if you could have AI running deep analysis as to, and it's probably already been done. That's why I'm saying it. But AI running deep analysis against all of your history of the internet use times all of your medical history for not only things to predict and sell, products to other advertisers and marketers, but to target you as an individual. So, I mean, by contributing to it, I guess at the same time, I would just at the very least say, don't be mad if you feel like this stuff is, I don't know, taking over, I guess is the better word to say. But those of you who want to protect your data, I wouldn't say use GoodRx. Those of you who just don't care anyways, or whatever that means, then it is what it is. So I won't harp on it too much. I mean, it gets to that point of people get in a pinch and you got to hit GoodRx. Perhaps some pharmacies can match it, perhaps some can't. Anyways, how to protect your private digital information. So this did obviously spur a good reminder for everybody. First and foremost, if you don't want to be targeted, then opt out. Most apps and online services allow users to make this choice in their personal settings. And if targeted ads are disabled theoretically on every device or browser or a consumer uses, websites and services wouldn't be allowed to save and use that personal data. So, second, you can even customize your privacy settings by checking all of your app's permissions, denying any information from being shared if it's not necessary, like your location or contacts. If the app requires that information to run properly, consider limiting the app's access to your data only while the app is in use. Lastly, the FTC recommends finding out if you have the right to tell a company or service you use to actually delete your data. So you can find out in your actual state laws. There's a U.S. privacy legislation tracker linked, and I'm going to put that into the chat. Those of you who are on the Instagram account there, I'm sorry that you're not going to be able to access that resource. But if you go and check it on Facebook, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, you should see there in the chats what I'm talking about here. So just trying to give out a resource for everybody. If you want to put yourself into the privacy legislation tracker, see where everything's at in your state. So New Mexico, let's look at it. We are a gray state. No comprehensive bills introduced as of July 21st, 2023. Texas, California, Utah, Colorado, all around us have signed state legislative process bills for privacy legislation tracking. So pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Anyways, I've put that in the chat for you guys. If you want to see where New Mexico stands, New Mexico has no legislation for comprehensive privacy bills. So, the more you learn, guys. Sometimes you just end up crawling way too far deep in the rabbit hole. I'm going to end up dead like one of these people, and you're going to be like, whoa, dude. I'm telling you, he wasn't trying to die. Anyways, all right. After we get done offending the Illuminati here, let's talk about enlightened living. The science of people. So I think this was a pretty cool thing I wanted to get into, guys. As we were talking about enlightened living and trying to have everybody kind of get what we're getting as far as wellness, mindset, and all these other things, I know these words can get really diluted and saturated and almost like, I don't know, I guess they've been making more of a comeback first and foremost is a better way to say that. But the words have kind of just, I think in mainstream, have been really often overlooked. Perhaps as a part of the agenda, perhaps not. But check this out. I'm gonna link a quiz for you guys, which is kind of cool. It's talking about personality traits. So scienceofpeople.com. Check this out. scienceofpeople.com/personality. There's a quiz there to find out your big 5 basic traits that researchers have found. There is a science to personality. So this is pretty cool, right? Everyone, regardless of gender, age, or nationality, is made up of these 5 basic traits: openness, conscientiousness, extroversion, agreeableness, and neuroticism. So again, I am referring to the scienceofpeople.com/personality big 5 test here. But when it comes to workplace, when it comes to knowing yourself, when it comes to your family, all these things are always good to take that triple evaluation on what is your personality. Do you know yourself? Do you know these things? How well do you know them? So I'm going to go through these guys. I'm going to talk about the big 5 personality traits and how that may actually affect things. So the funniest thing is personality traits are quite genetic. They are. So nature versus nurture. Do you inherit your traits from your parents or create them in your childhood? Well, yes, it's both environmental factor, but it's very interesting to see that genetic traits are expressed differently. Everybody is their own unique person. So where your personality is a part of your phenotypical expression, your personality is being complicated multi-dimensional beasts. So based on 4 different twin studies, researchers believe certain traits are more heritable than others. For example, how adventurous you are is the most heritable trait, while how easygoing you are is the least heritable. So in other words, if your parents love trying new foods, you are more likely to enjoy that as well. But if your parents are laid back hippies, you have less chance of being a hippie. Strange. So we're going to talk about the different traits here. So personality trait number 1, openness. Someone is curious and open-minded to new experiences and knowledge. People who rate high in openness are inventive and curious. People who rate low in openness are consistent and cautious. So think about it. Do you agree with these statements or not? I love adventure. I am imaginative. I am the first to try new activities. If you agree, you probably rate high in openness. If you disagree, right, you probably have a low rate. Openness, according to science, has a 57% genetic influence. So interesting. According to the sciencepeople.com/personality, how to tap into that. If you rate high in openness, let people in your life know that you love to be challenged. Make sure you have creative outlets to express yourself. You also have to make sure your spouse or partner knows your level of adventure so your needs are met. I can see a little bit of both in myself there, right? I'm quite open, but at the same time, I've developed consistent and cautious activities. So, everybody can be different there, but 57% of that trait is from mom and dad and grandma and grandpa, so on and so forth. Again, personality trait number 2, conscientiousness. So conscientiousness, excuse me as I choke on myself. Conscientiousness describes how organized and dependable you are. People who rate high in conscientiousness are efficient and organized. People who rate low in conscientiousness are more easygoing and laid back. Do you agree with these statements? I am highly self-disciplined. I am very organized and always come prepared. I like to know the plan rather than be spontaneous. If you agree, you probably rate high in conscientiousness. If you disagree, you probably rate low in conscientiousness. Another one, 49% genetic influence by conscientiousness. Again, special note, according to the sciencepeople.com/personality, if you rate high in conscientiousness, you want to make sure the people around you respect your desire to have a plan. But don't get too frustrated with people who rate low in conscientiousness. You can't blame them for not being organized. It just doesn't come as naturally. Again, personality trait number 3, extroversion. Extroversion describes how you interact with people. People who rate high in extroversion are outgoing and energetic. People who rate low in extroversion are more solitary and reserved. Do you disagree or agree with these statements? Think about it. I am the life of the party. I don't mind being the center of attention. I am usually the one to start a conversation with someone. If you agree, you're probably like me, probably rate high in extroversion. If you disagree, you probably rate low. Extroversion, 54% genetic influence. If you rate low in extroversion, be sure not to try to force yourself to try to be extroverted. Honor your introversion. You never want to try to be something you're not. Think of the places and people who excite you and stick to those nourishing spots. This helps you stay true to yourself. Let the extroverts go to the nightclubs. And, you know, extroverts, that doesn't just mean you're always going to the bar and you're an alcoholic. That doesn't mean that, right? That's not what we're saying. So, anyways, moving on. Next personality trait, number 4, agreeableness. So, agreeableness is how you feel towards others. People who rate high in agreeableness are friendly and compassionate. People who rate low in agreeableness are more analytical and detached. Do you agree or disagree with these statements? I tend to trust people and give them the benefit of the doubt. I am extremely empathetic. I like to make other people feel at ease. If you agreed, you probably rate high in agreeableness. If you disagreed, you probably rate low in agreeableness. Agreeableness, 42% genetic influence. So again, special note, if you rate low in agreeableness, empathy doesn't come as naturally to you. So your partner might say things such as, don't you understand me? Or why don't you get me? That's okay. Know that you must make more of a mental effort to try to put yourself in their shoes, right? And that's okay to think about. So again, agreeableness is how you feel towards others. So where people may say, withdrawn or something like that, withdrawn or analytical, like we're saying, people who are high in agreeableness are friendly and compassionate and thought of that way. So do you agree or not agree with the statements? That's where it gets you. Think about it. It's worth thinking about. It's not as genetically influential. They're not as much passed on. Personality trait number 5, neuroticism. Neuroticism is how you deal with emotions. People who rate high in neuroticism are sensitive and tend to be more nervous. People who rate low in neuroticism tend to be more secure and stable. Do you agree or disagree with these statements? I stress out easy. I tend to be moody. I am a worrier. If you agree, you probably rate high in neuroticism. If you disagree, you probably rate low. Neuroticism has a 48% genetic influence. So if you guys, special note here, if you rate high, you have to know your triggers, what makes you worry, and your calmers, what helps you calm down so you can be more in control of your moods. Just things to know, neuroticism, right? 48% genetic influence, so it can be passed down for sure. And then environment is definitely going to influence neuroticism a little more for sure. Again, so let's talk about some studies here and keep getting into this thing. Talking about the science of personality, everybody. Hope everybody's having a wonderful Friday evening. Thank you for anybody who is joining me currently right now, and to anybody in the future who's watching this. Howdy do. Again, we are talking about the science of people, how personality may impact health. Again, so we went over the 5 traits. If you guys didn't catch that, go catch that in the replay. But we're looking at lifespan and the studies here. So pretty cool. Conscientiousness, starting with that one. A 75-year longitudinal study conducted by Josh Jackson determined that men with conscientious personality traits have been known to live longer. Conscientiousness, again, is the trait that describes how organized and how dependable you are. People high in this trait have high self-discipline, are very organized and prepared, and like to plan things out instead of being spontaneous. Obviously, it makes sense when you think about it. High conscientious men would be less likely to do something spontaneous and potentially life-threatening. Further, being dependable and strict with self-discipline is a much safer lifestyle choice. So, right, if you're looking at decisions, inputs of that over time, that's where you're getting. Next, extroversion. Interesting. Extroversion describing how you interact with people. People who are high in extroversion outgoing and energetic, while people who are low in extroversion, introverts, are more solitary and reserved and typically require recharge time from social interaction. As it turns out, people who are more outgoing and sociable have the strongest immune system compared to those who are more introspective and inverted. So interesting, right? So if you think you're in the middle, you may be called an ambivert. Again, you can measure genetic factors in your immune systems, cross it with obviously personality tests, and that's how they got this study. So they studied that, and the study proved over that the bodies of extroverted people are primed to have stronger immune systems since they are more exposed to germs or sickness as they interact with more people regularly. So it's like the dirt lot theory or the sandbox theory, right? In that sense. Interesting. Agreeableness, how you feel towards others. People who are highly agreeable are friendly, compassionate, and very optimistic. They are collaborative and team players. Research has shown that people high in agreeableness and optimism have healthier hearts than those who are pessimistic or neurotic. Even when adjusted to socio-demographic characteristics like age, income, and education, and poor mental health, the results remain consistent. Agreeable and optimistic people had better cardiovascular health. Guys, I had a little bit of a light mishap right behind me. Give me just 2 seconds to check on that. Weird. To anybody that, sorry about any light issues. I do want to almost check this for 2 seconds. Gosh, that is there. And it doesn't work. It's okay. We'll figure this out. Check this out. Boom. Well, hello, everybody. The light is back. We are talking. What's up? What's up? So, again, we are talking enlightened living, the science of people, how personality may impact the health. Sorry, guys, that my light just had some sort of a blip, but I hope everybody's doing well. Again, so we had just talked about the personality traits here and the test. As I was talking to scienceofpeople.com/personality and the big 5 personality traits. And we just talked about how conscientiousness, people who, especially men with conscientious personality traits, live longer, and people with extroverted personality traits have better immune systems, stronger immune systems. So interesting enough. So again, agreeableness, that's where I was making through how you feel towards others. People who are highly agreeable are friendly, compassionate, and very optimistic. They are collaborative and team players. Research has shown that people in high agreeableness and optimism have healthier hearts than those who are pessimistic or neurotic. Even when adjusted to include socio-demographic characteristics like age, income, education, and poor mental health, the results remain consistent. Agreeable, optimistic people had better cardiovascular health. Can an introvert train to be extroverted? So the advice that was put on here, sir, from the Pharmacy Podcast Network, thank you. That's cool that you're watching. It says here, if the special note on it was cool, apparently, according to this, the scienceofpeople.com/personality, extroversion has a 54% genetic influence. So the note there was just tapping into being yourself. If you rate low in extroversion, be sure not to force yourself to try to be extroverted. Honor your introversion. You never want to try to be something or someone you are not. And think of the places and the people who excite you and stick to those nourishing spots. This helps people stay true to themselves, and the extroverts can thus go to, the nightclubs. So I thought that was pretty cool. Pretty cool advice there. So those 3 traits, as we talked about, agreeableness, extroversion, and conscientiousness, interestingly enough, are the ones that influence your health out of the 5. And guys, if you want to take a look at all that, again, I'm on scienceofpeople.com/personality. We're in the enlightened living segment of our broadcast here. And we are talking here. Next part, interesting. Can you truly know someone's personality by just looking at their face? Facial profiling can tell you a lot. Again, according to a new Israeli startup, Faceception, a private company founded in 2014, they're a facial personality profiling company. They believe that knowing and understanding people is key to improving communications and making the right decisions about the right person in front of you or on the video screen. And they also believe that the face reveals personality. And I know everybody already kind of probably intuitively knows this, but with the growth in social networks, smartphones and videos and camera everywhere, facial images are available to use. So, interesting. Accurately reading faces can drastically help improve communication and help people make better decisions and revolutionize industries. Look at this one. Professional poker players. That's an interesting one. I don't think professional poker players would like to have their faces analyzed. I can tell you that. Those card counters or whatever. I mean, does it matter if you're counting the cards or not? If your brain is so computational, I don't really know. I guess according to the casinos, when you're taking all their money, it sure does. Right? So those Vegas head honchos who are that good for a reason. So, I mean, harder you work, the luckier you get. And I mean, you can't just count cards by not knowing how to do anything. You got to actually be pretty smart. So anyways, academic researchers reading faces, interestingly enough, finding out if people are pedophiles. Interesting enough, right? In the time of pedophilia is one of the big topics. So this Faceception has actually signed a contract already with Homeland Security agencies. So they're trying to look at terrorists and that other kind of things. But that technology is interesting. So again, Enlightened Living, Tech Talk, and where that all happens. You know, our faces are truly a reflection of our DNA. So when you look at that, I mean, you could track almost getting that down when you facially map the face and getting that all the way up there. Super, super interesting. But anyways, we're moving on to the next portion of the segment, guys. If you guys found that interesting, check out the scienceofpeople.com/personality. Take that big 5 personality test, and you can look at all the cool stuff that they offer. But I think that's pretty neat. Anyways, the Herbal Wellness Corner is what's up next, everybody. So that's what I'm talking about. Rick Simpson oil. So those of you guys who know that I am bullish on Rick Simpson oil also know that I am bullish on ending cancer. I'm also bullish on cannabis. So with all that in mind, if you guys haven't heard of the butt cancer case study, we are launching 42 people. They're going to be taking Rick Simpson oil, evaluated by moi, supplied oil by Botanics Extracts through High Horse Cannabis Dispensaries. And we are working through our nonprofit called the Trichome Alliance. And we are recruiting 42 local community cancer patients to have Rick Simpson oil as a part of their cancer treatment and work up to a dose of 2 grams a day. So guys, I really want to take that extra time. For those of you who have heard me harp on it, I'm going to harp on it again today. What is Rick Simpson oil? What is the butt cancer case study? Why is all of this important? Again, Rick Simpson oil, called RSO for short, one of the most versatile and lauded cannabis innovations, an oil created by Rick Simpson, a Canadian engineer and cannabis advocate who was radicalized to cannabis activism by a work accident that led to various health issues. Again, the story goes that Rick was able to resolve his health issues with RSO, a dark tar-like cannabis extract that straddles the line of concentrate, edible, and topical. In short, there's very little it can't do, again, according to leafly.com, and it can do a lot for both patients and cannabis users. So again, RSO, what is it? It's full spectrum oil. It's derived from cannabis. So rather than just being a solvent extract that only strips the trichomes from the buds, this strips everything: cannabinoids, terpenes, and additional compounds from the cannabis plant. So again, I'm talking about Rick Simpson oil, and this is going to be the active pharmaceutical ingredient in our 42 patient local butt cancer case study. So in terms of the RSO extraction, the whole plant matter makes it a black tarry extract, as we saw there on the crossroads between edible, topical, and oil. So it's already going to have that molassesy like substance, right? Again, created for Rick Simpson, who had cancer and other chronic health conditions. And Rick Simpson, he didn't want to become a marijuana icon. He was actually a Canadian engineer working at a hospital in 1997, tasked to work on some asbestos-covered pipes in a boiler room. The poor ventilation and toxic fumes caused him to pass out and fall off his ladder, after which he was taken to the emergency room. He had developed tinnitus and dizzy spells soon after, and no prescribed medication seemed to help. Despite its illegality and advice of his doctor, Simpson began using medical marijuana with great results in reliving his symptoms. In 2003, he was diagnosed with basal cell carcinoma, a type of skin cancer. By then, Canada had legalized cannabis for medicinal purposes, but it was hard for Simpson to find a doctor who supported his use. A 1975 study in the Journal of the National Cancer Institute showed how cannabis and its compounds inhibited tumor growth in mice, inspiring him to create RSO. He has always maintained that applying RSO to his cancer growth and leaving it bandaged for 4 days cured him of cancer, but this has not been independently verified. So again, Simpson began producing the oil in mass and distributing it to thousands of patients for free. In 2009, his property was raided by the Royal Canadian Mounted Police, and thousands of cannabis plants were confiscated. So, to escape legal persecution, Rick Simpson now lives in Croatia and maintains a website for his RSO recipe, his dosing guide, and his books. In 2018, he suffered a stroke and has since receded from the public, but continues to advocate for RSO and medical cannabis. So again, benefits from RSO, 2013 article showing the use that RSO severely decreased the leukemic blast cell count in a 14-year-old terminal cancer patient with no toxic sides. Anecdotally, RSO has helped patients manage conditions such as MS, epilepsy, cancer, insomnia, chronic pain, and asthma, among many others. Again, the word anecdotally. As an incredibly potent THC product, RSO offers potential therapeutic benefits. So that's what we're looking to explore. Institutional research is not paying for cannabis because cannabis is a Schedule I controlled substance. So you can't have thousands of people take cannabis and use it. Again, so 2021 study indicated that while many cancer patients use cannabis in conjunction with cancer treatments, their primary care teams lacked insight on how to integrate cannabis into a regimen. And I think our providers in Las Cruces are only getting better, but there's a lot of meat on the bone. Again, a 2021 study indicated that while many cancer patients use cannabis in conjunction with cancer treatments, their primary care teams lacked insight on how to integrate cannabis into a regimen. That's the whole point of the butt cancer case study. We're trying to help with this 2021 study. So 2021 study said primary care teams do not have insight on how to integrate cannabis into a cancer regimen. Our butt cancer case study, we are taking 42 local cancer patients and we are integrating cannabis into a regimen. I, as the pharmacist, am going to be working closely with the providers, monitoring the use of RSO through an app I created. And we're going to be keeping this data and maintaining it safely and privately. Again, so Rick Simpson oil for cancer treatment. Simpson talked about curing his skin cancer. People say they use it at back pain. So again, shout out to High Horse Cannabis, where you can find Rick Simpson oil currently available. Our dispensary will be up and running soon, folks. For those of you who are wondering right now about our products, our Pharm True pharmacist formulated products, my 47 pharmacist formulated cannabis products are available through High Horse Cannabis on North Main for now. So anyways, more coming soon. That's all I got to say. RSO, guys, is expensive. Don't forget, So if you have somebody with cancer that might qualify for the study, let's get them on some discounted cannabis for sure. What a great idea. Again, go to www.trichomalliance.com/buttcancer to learn more about the study. And I'm putting that in the show notes. As you guys should already know, I keep 110% harping on all that. Again, big shout out, guys. Community shout out today as the announcer at Vado Speedway Park, the color announcer, Mark Driver is our primary race caller. So as one of your two microphone holders out there, I'm super happy to announce on our community shout out page, we are shouting out two local drivers that won last week that I had a podcast with this Tuesday on the Vado Speedway Park Facebook page. Guys, that's Rob Mosley and Josh Kane out of Los Lunas, New Mexico. They were super fun to talk to. Great guys. They've been racing for, their entire lives, and these guys are running like 80 plus shows a year. And they are your regular guys working all day, working on their cars all night, racing all year. So shout out to them as they won last week at Vado Speedway Park. Had a great interview with them on Vado Speedway Park's Facebook page, guys. We have a weekly podcast where we get to go on those deep dives with the drivers. And I think it'd be really cool idea for those of you guys who actually watch my show and follow some of this stuff to check into some of that. Cause I'm telling you, it only gets really cooler. If you want to see my face melt, I'm talking about pharmacy. I'm talking about racing. Oh man, I love it. I love it. So rev those engines, folks. Anyways, moving into the next and final segment of my live stream. As I make sure to get that community spotlight highlighted there on the screen, actually. But the final segment, Men's Health Minute, we're talking about bioidentical hormone replacement therapy, guys. That is BHRT. Again, talking about regenerative medicine. I know, when you see regenerative medicine, guys, you're seeing ads about, hormone optimization and men's health and testosterone and all kinds of stuff. So want to make sure that we can go through a little bit of this for the average Joe, just like me and you. What does that even mean? Men, starting your 30s, going into those 40s and 50s, men's bodies are starting to produce testosterone at declining rates, just a fact, causing them to lose muscle mass and be more prone to weight gain. Again, leading to other cascading health outcomes. So, talking about the hormonal changes in men, the natural production of testosterone as it has peaked in the late 20s starts to decline. After that, reduction of that can lead to long-term effects. And so for some people, as a pharmacist, I think it's an important thing to address. I think you've got all your supplement heads that are really, really either into taking every single thing in the stack that they can find on all the ads that they see, or you have the people who are really into their, fitness and are really working on optimizing all their hormones and their regimens and their vitamins. And those are the ones that are actually obviously the ones you see up on stage and the really ones doing it right. But for the average Joe, for the normal guy, there's a stigma against testosterone therapy versus watching WWE, or should I say, right, thinking Arnold Schwarzenegger. Bioidentical hormone replacement doesn't mean turning people into Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, so symptoms of hormonal imbalance in men can include loss of libido, reduced mental focus and energy levels, diminished muscle mass and joint pain, increased irritability and depression, and reduced sexual performance. So, bioidentical hormone replacement therapy helps to achieve the optimal hormone levels. So usually for men, it's going to be testosterone replacement. Women, this is Men's Health Minute, so we are talking about men, but again, women, you're looking at progesterone, you're looking at estrogen, you're looking at thyroid and TSH and human growth hormone. Again, so men, as we talk about men's health being a low access point where men really only go to the doctor when they feel like they're dying unless they are retired. So the working age man, statistically does not go to the doctor. So, mostly the working age man is probably not looking at optimizing or talking about bioidentical hormone replacement But, whether or not you're looking at pellets, creams, or injections, hormone replacement therapy can actually help safely make you feel yourself again. And that is actually okay to say. And that's called regenerative medicine, guys. And, there's plenty of regenerative medicine practices here in town local. Want to support obviously Be Well Regenerative Medicine here in town. Destino Bea, they are great as well. And as this makes its way more into, the top of the line market, you will see it more. I know you saw a lot of the boom of the GLP-1 agonists and the weight loss drugs. The boom of naltrexone, I'm still pro. I'm still pushing naltrexone. I think it's a great drug. Low dose naltrexone, again, for anti-inflammation and integrative medicine. But in our Men's Health Minute today, I just wanted, men to take another second look and thought about using testosterone and what that means, and stigmatizing something because you see somebody like Arnold Schwarzenegger that has probably taken more testosterone than the average man ever needs, right? 10 times over, make you stigmatize that. So men, you can win a lot of your quality of life back by looking into regenerative medicine and bioidentical hormone replacement therapy. So that's my spiel on that, guys. I don't think I have too many questions today, actually. Friday afternoon, everybody's busy doing everything else, so I completely understand. Hope you guys get to this in the weekend or not. We'll see. We'll see it when we see it, guys. It's been a super fun stream this evening. Hope everybody has had a wonderful Friday. It's been a first week. I think I've had a fantastic week with you all, and we're going to continue to make this stream better and better and better. So it's Dr. Joaquin signing off Friday afternoon.